Kahalalim la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS who rule well, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to you elect out there, starting with the 144,000 on down. So this lesson is going into pretty much these elites, these oligarchs, whatever you want to call them, the rulers of the people. They are top occultists, and they deal with the spirits, with demons. So I'm going to play this quick clip, and some of the stuff that he says here is on point, and we're going to dissect that through the scriptures.
But I'll tell you right now, the thoughts that you have are not your own. You think they're your own. They're not your own thoughts. Right. Like, where do they come from? Like, all you are is a decision maker. That's it. And like the difference between us and like a schizophrenic person, everybody's hearing the voices, regardless of whether they realize it or not. The difference between us and a schizophrenic person is the schizophrenic person recognizes it's not them having the thoughts. That's the difference. And like people that are very high elitist involved in the occult, they all hear demons. I mean, Les Wexner, I think his name, the guy that gave Jeffrey Epstein his first mansion. Yes. Like, he even admits in an interview, he says, well, how do you make your decisions on what you should buy or do with your stocks? And he goes, I listen to my golem. His golem is a demon. It's a Jewish term. But he's listening to a demon. And he straight up says it. I listen to my golem. Like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, he's schizophrenic. Like, but you wouldn't look at that guy and go, oh, that guy's schizophrenic. You would look at him and go, oh, he's successful. Oh, he's great. No, bro, he's listening to demons. You want to know the difference between him and the person in the crazy ward? Is the person in the crazy ward is like saying, no, I'm not going to do that terrible thing. But that guy, I guarantee you that dude's probably doing some wicked stuff. That's why he's successful. That's why he's making so much money doing what he's doing. Because the demons will bless you when you continue to do the wicked stuff they want you to a lot of times. There's some people that build success and they build it off of honesty and truth and they become very wealthy and it's good. Right. And then there's some people that build success off of corruption and wickedness. Correct. And you can see the two difference. And it's very like you can see the dichotomy. The energy's different. You can totally tell. And when you meet those people, you're like, okay, this person's obviously the type of person that has built what they have with corruption. And it's like they'll and that's because they're listening to demons.
Right. So he mentioned this guy, Lex Wexner, who is, he's Epstein's, not handler, I'll say, but he set him up, mentor. And this guy's a demon, top demon, man, founder of Victoria's Secret, these guys, you just think they're, financial businessmen or business elites or whatever the case is. But these guys, right, are, guys like him, they commune with the spirits, right? And this is going into Ephesians 6 and 11 NLT. It says, put on all of the Most High's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places, right? We're not fighting these elites because, again, what is our job? To cast down strongholds, tear down all these imaginations, and that's causing a ripple in the spiritual realm, it's pissing off the demons and Satan and the elites. So guess what? What are they doing? They're increasing their rituals. They're sending curses. They're cursing. If they curse the Most High and His Son, they're cursing His men. We're not meeting these guys in a back alley, and fighting. Okay. Shooting the 5. We're not brawling with these guys. How are you gonna fight these guys when they're sending spirits and demons on you to attack you? You got to put on the armor, right? Verse 13. Therefore, put on every piece of the Most High's armor, so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body armor of the Most High's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news, so that you will be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion, right? Because them thoughts, man, he's right. Them thoughts, you can't control your thoughts. That's the thing. You can't just say, hey, I want to stop. No, I don't want to think this anymore. Or, I don't want to get this thought anymore. Or even when you have a bunch of thoughts, you can't really stop them. For brothers that meditate or you do some deep breathing exercise, that's impossible to stop. Thoughts come and go. That's the point. Thoughts, they're supposed to come and go. Some people dwell on them, but really, they're just they're just coming. You can't stop them, and there's a lot to do with the spiritual realm in general, right? Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere, right? So let's get to the nitty gritty, right? This is HebrewHorror.substack.com. Leslie Wexner's lifelong. Now they keep using this word dibuk, which is, I believe, a Yiddish word. Let me see. 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna skim through. I'm gonna go through this. I'm not gonna read too much, but I want to hit the point. Here we go. Shortly after Leslie Wexner, the man, turned 40, he had a godly experience that changed the course of his life. It involved snow, darkness, and a teacher. Yeah, I don't know why they put it like that, but anyway, the demon is this long ass name, but this is the demon. It says, inside the Limited's million square foot distribution center, music is playing. It always plays wherever Les Wexner is, in all 6 of his homes, in his offices, in his 23 and 40 2,340 stores. It plays even though he never listens because he hates to hear nothing. New York Magazine, The Bachelor Billionaire. In 1985, Leslie Wexner hated to hear nothing because from nothing, from the silence of the universe, would come the voice of this demon. A short consideration of the word dabuk, which they say here is dabak, right, in the Hebrew dabak, which means to cling. In positive Jewish thought, the idea is devekuk or devekut, a lofty state of clinging to God. In negative, the idea is the devek, or a clinging spirit, right? So pretty much it's an outwardly malevolent entity that possesses a living person on account of unresolved currents, a desire to be near to God, spark slumbering in every human, or a third reason we cannot discuss here, right? So it's pretty much a demon, a clinging spirit. To Leslie Wexner, it came not as a devil but an angel. Okay, now I want to go to the point where he's seen this demon and he communes with him. So the demon, right, long ass name, appeared to Leslie Wexner 6 times in physical form. 3 of these were as the man it was bound to, a demon with his own face. To Leslie Wexner, this was pure horror, a feeling like turning a corner of the world and encountering your identical twin who does not exist. After each of the meetings, Leslie Wexner, the man, retired to his mirror where he sat before himself in reflection. Long afternoons, powerful or powerless in entrance, decisions and rustlings occurring within and yet far from his plane of awareness or control, enslavement to himself and his achievements, but also to their source. Wealth and power and might are human gains and can often serve as reminders that there are worlds other than these Not all elites are so lucky. On the first, fourth, and last occasion that demon appeared to Wexner, it was in a different form, not as him, but as any man at all, but as a higher being. Okay. Leslie Wexner met this demon again when he was 40 and already worth $500 million when he climbed the mountain in front of his house in Vale, almost froze to death, and decided to change his life. The mountains did this to Les, moved him up onto the peaks of noble vision. So something happened between him and the demon on the cold mountain. The night 40-year-old Wexner nearly lost his life climbing his property in the middle of a snowstorm. To show his might and his worth, his ability, his last hope was to encounter that figure again, sitting on an icy tree branch, calm as a snake in a garden. And when he heard the demon breathe, Leslie Wexner felt cold-blooded for the first time and only time in his life. Time paused, the snowflakes froze, literally froze, as in stopped moving, and those familiar eyes, hideous and hooded, blinked once, twice, 3 times. He would say no more about what happened. Okay, so these people, man, look, and this guy, he's not a super elite, right? So you can imagine what, like, the Rothschild and the Medicis and Rockefellers and the DuPonts and all these different families, what kind of shit they see, what kind of things they do. And the rituals and sacrifices are very serious, man. You see, right, with the list, what's coming out, the information, not the list, but the files on this guy Jeffrey, what's coming out. They torture, they do this, they do that, right? They have infant sacrifice, and they do very abominable things, man. Things that we've been telling you for years through the spirit, and now you people are finally learning. And it's not even all out, because allegedly there's 6 million files and only 3 million have been released. So there's another 3 million on pause, on ice right now. But you people are bugging out, and you can't fathom why they would do this. You got to think that they're what do you call it? People are trying to rationalize it, saying, "Hey, these are reptilians. They're not even humans. They're just sacrificing us." No, they're so-called people. They're creatures, just like all the nations, but they're completely demonic. That's why they're called the wicked, right? They're known as the wicked because they do these heinous acts, man, and they really deal with these spirits. Okay. So anyway, hope you're edified with that. Kahalalim la Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai wa Harakakurash Shalom.